Here I'm going to be showing you how to attack your dosage calculation questions very consistently. Okay, so I break dosage calculation questions down by three main categories, right? Okay, and we're going to show you how to do this so that way you can be consistent and get these questions right. Okay, so I have three letters that I usually write out when I'm doing a problem. Okay, have my O, my S, and my D. Okay, so O is my ordered. Okay, so that's whatever the doctor orders. So like they might order Tylenol or whatever kind of drug, and they'll have like a quantity of it. Okay, so that'll be for that. Then you have your stock. That'll be how much you have of it, and then you'll have your desired. Okay, and so this will be like the main criteria that I'll be used to apply to most of these types of questions. Okay, there are two other things that I'm going to be considering when I do a question. Okay, and those are sometimes I'll put T and M, okay? And this just kind of helps me check myself, okay? So T and M, I go for tricks, and this is memory, okay? And so what it means by this is if I see I'm looking for tricks because I'm trying to make sure that when the question they ask me, they want to know the calculation for one dose, okay? And sometimes you'll see that some questions will ask you what the daily dose is as opposed to one dose. Okay, so those are different because you might be giving a medication, say BID or twice a day, or TID, which is 3 times a day. Okay, so it's important to know, is this for one dose? Is this like the sum of all the doses, or what exactly the criteria is? Okay, so most of the questions that you're going to be seeing are one dose. Okay, but it's important that you don't get tricked because you just need to keep an eye out, because sometimes certain questions will be giving you that. Okay, now I say memory here because it's important to be able to convert these units that you have, so you'll have to have a knowledge of those. So those are the ones where I would definitely commit certain unit conversions to memory. Okay, let me show you. Okay, these are some of the dosage calculation conversions that I would definitely know. Okay, 100 milligrams to 1,000, or 1 milligram to 1,000 micrograms, definitely no. 1 liter to 1,000 mLs, definitely no. Teaspoon and tablespoon, I don't use those as often, or I don't see those as often, but they've shown up. Okay, 1 gram to 1,000 milligrams, definitely know that. 1 mil to 1 cc, they'll use that terminology now and then, but I would still be aware of it. 30 mils to an ounce, you'll see it sometimes. You'll definitely want to know the kilograms to pounds, or the pounds to kilograms, because you'll have a lot of weight-based dosages and they'll give you the pounds, but you'll need to convert it to kilograms to do dosage calculation questions. Okay, so I would definitely know that 2.2 is your magic number for the weight. But yeah, these are the ones that I definitely would know, especially for the mass, I'd know those, and then for the volume, I'd know those, and then your 2.2, for sure. So yeah, let's look at doing a few of these questions so that way you can get a feel for how you can apply this OSD, and then make sure that you don't get tricked, and make sure that you know your conversions. Okay, so I'm using Registered Nurse RN. Okay, this is Sarah from Registered Nurse RN. She has these quizzes that you can do, and we're going to take a look at some of the questions, and we're going to do them together. Okay, so I have my OSDTM over here on the left. Okay, so let's look at organizing it. Okay, I'm gonna just write it out here first. Okay, so let's write O, let's write S, let's write D, and then T and M. I don't always use the T and M if the problem doesn't have it, but I like to organize it definitely first with this OSDTM. Okay, so let's let's read the question. So MD writes an order for Tylenol 160 milligrams. Okay, by mouth as needed every 6 hours. Okay, so I'm paying attention to that because I'm going to see if that every 6 hours is going to make me consider calculating a daily dose, or is it just that one-time dose. So I'm considering it. It might not be something that I use, but I'm considering it. Okay, so let's see. The pharmacy dispenses you with 80 milligrams per milliliter. Okay, how many milliliters will you administer per dose? Okay, so since it says per dose, I don't need to consider that it needs to be given every 6 hours when I'm calculating this dose. So I'm not going to really have to worry about the daily dose. I'm just worrying about this one. So I'm crossing out my T because they're not trying to trick me with a multi-dose question. Okay, and so let's look at the rest of them. Okay, let's start organizing our information. Okay, so we have our 160 milligrams. This is our order. Okay, right here. So this goes right here, 160 milligrams. That's what the doctor ordered. Okay, our stock is what the pharmacy dispenses. That's 80 milligrams per milliliter. Okay, sometimes I'll just write ml, 1 ml right there, because it says per milliliter. That's understood that it's 1 ml. Okay, so 80 milligrams per 1 milliliter. Now what is this question wanting? Okay, it's wanting milliliters, so we write ml right here. Okay, so I always start my equations with what I want, with my desired. Okay, so this is how I start organizing it. Okay, so I started with the mLs on top. Okay, so it doesn't matter really how we organize it with what's on top and what's on bottom too much, but starting with your desired will usually always be the best way to go. So 1 ml, this is where this is right there, over 80 milligrams. Okay, we're just going to set this up because we want to cancel out all the units and be left with our desired milliliters right here. Okay, all right, so 1 ml over 80 milligrams. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to see, okay, well, what cancels next? Okay, we're going to get that 160 milligrams because that's what the order is. Okay, and if we then see if there's anything else that we need to do. No. Okay, we can cancel out the milligrams. That leaves us with just milliliters, and that's what we wanted. Okay, so then we end up with 160 over 80, and then we do that math. Okay, this math right here will let's see, let's pull up a calculator. Okay, so that's 160 over 80. That gives us 2. Okay, and so we're left with 2, and the units left right here is mLs, and so that's what we wanted. And so let's see if that's an answer. Yes, it is. So it's 2 mLs. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, and so there we go with that one. All right, let's do another one that's kind of similar. I'm just going to write my O, my S, and my D here. Okay, MD orders Mecum is 300 milligrams. Okay, I'm just going to write that out. Dose before the heart cath. Pharmacy dispenses 600 milligrams divided by 2 mLs. And it's asking me for mLs. And it's per dose. Okay, so I'm not even gonna worry about the tricks because we're staying with, it's a per dose thing right there. So no tricks, memory, we're staying with our units, see, we're staying with milligrams and milligrams, and we're staying with milliliters and milliliters. Okay, so I don't have to convert, so I'm not using those. Okay, so what do we want? Let's start with our milliliters. Okay, so which one do we have that's milliliters? 2 milliliters, right? So let's start putting that here. Okay, so 2 mLs over 600 milligrams, and then we put that over 300 milligrams. Remember, we're trying to cancel these units out. I have a little saying. It's when in doubt, cancel out, until you're left with the units that you need. So we can cancel out the milligrams, and we're left with the mLs. That's what we wanted. Okay, so let's do some math. That's 2 times 300 is what? That's going to be 600. And 600 on the bottom. So then that should be like 1. Okay, so I'm thinking this is going to be something like 1 ml, hopefully. And so it's right there. See, that's what we wanted. Okay, now let's try a few different types of questions here. I'm going to skip down here to number 9. Okay, and this one is going to be a little bit different, and that's because we're going to have to consider some of those other things that we had talked about. Okay, so I have our ordered, our stock, our desired, and then let's also consider our tricks and our memory. Okay, let's write these in a different color, just kind of help you guys out. Okay, so our ordered GI cocktail, 150 milligrams every 6 hours for 24 hours. The pharmacy is stocking us with 75 mgs per 3 milliliters. How many mLs will you administer daily? Okay, now this is the thing right here. You see, this is a daily question, and we're giving this dose every 6 hours. Okay, so that means that I'm going to have to consider this as what I would say a trick would be. Okay, so if it's a dose administered every 6 hours for 24 hours, that means I'm going to have to give this dose 4 times, because 6 times 4 is 24. There's 24 hours in a day. Okay, so that's where I'm considering this trick. Okay, hopefully you don't have those, but you might see that, so just be aware. Okay, so that's going to be something that we're going to need to add to this equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting things where they need to be. So our order is for 150 milligrams, and then the stock is 75 per 3 mLs, and we want to know the milliliters. Okay, so let's start organizing this. We got our 3 mLs on top. We have that over 75 milligrams. And then this is 150 milligrams. Okay, now don't forget that this is not your final answer. We need to do this 4 times, because this wants the daily dose, not just a one-time dose. Okay, so we're gonna need to multiply it by 4, okay, to figure everything out. So when we do this, we take 3 times 150. Okay, 3 times 150, and then times 4. Okay, that equals 1800 right here. And then it looks like just 75 on the bottom. Okay, this is canceling out, that's canceling out. And then let's see what that ends up being. 24, okay. And let's see how that works out. Okay, so there's our answer. And so you see how we didn't necessarily have to use the memory, but like if we're watching for tricks, like, you know, this daily thing right here is something that helps us keep track of things like tricks in the problem. Okay, let's go ahead and try, let's see, one, maybe two more. That's it. Okay, let's go ahead and organize. Order, stock, desired. Okay, tricks, memory. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We got 2 grams. Okay, here's a red flag, grams right there. Okay, usually with grams you're gonna have to do some conversion to milligrams. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of different things going on with this program, or this problem immediately. Okay, so we want milliliters, and then we want a daily dose too. So we got a lot of red flags here. We want a daily dose, and we got a unit conversion. Okay, so let's see. So it's a 2 grams, 2 grams of caraphate, and that's 3 times a day. So that's times 3. Okay. And then we've got our stock, which is 500 over 2.5. Okay, and then our desired is the mLs. Okay, and so the memory trick that we're going to have to do here is we're going to need to know grams are equal to how many milligrams. Okay, so you haven't seen this yet, but this is what, you know, you need to be able to be aware of, that this is a conversion rate, you know, how much goes into how much. Okay, so let's start setting this up. Okay, we know that we want mLs, so let's start with that first. Okay, so 2.5 mLs, and this might be a long one. Okay, over 500 milligrams. Okay, and then let's see, we'll need to convert that that grams to milligrams. So then we would see that we know that 1,000 milligrams is equal to 1 gram. Okay. And then how do we get rid of the grams? Well, we know that the order was 2 grams, okay? And so that's where that comes in. Now we need to keep on setting it up, because there was, you know, even more, because there was a daily consideration, because you give this thing 3 times a day. So I'm going to put times 3, because it's the 3 daily doses. So that's something that we're going to need to add. So all right, so we have 2.5 times 1,000 times 2 times 3 doses. Let's make sure that all these units cancel out and that we get the mLs. Okay, remember I said when in doubt, cancel out? Let's look at the units. They're all canceling. Okay, and 3 doses, that's not really a unit, that's just letting you know that you need to do this 3 times a day, and it's wanting the daily dose. So let's do some math here. 2.5. So we got 2.5 times 1,000. That's times 2 times 3. So that looks like it's going to be 15,000, and then that's over 500. Okay, see on the bottom there's just 5. So then let's just do that math real quick. And that looks like we're left with 30 mLs. And let's see if that's an option. Yep, sure is. Right there. Okay, and so that's essentially how you're going to be attacking these. I don't think I circled any other ones, but those were some of the ones that I thought would be more beneficial to you to see how I attack these kinds of questions. Okay, when in doubt, cancel it out, methodically attack these questions, and you'll do great. Thank you.